What kind of kid were you? Do you have a big imagination? Were you like?
Yeah, definitely. I was alone a lot. I mean, my brother's a lot older, and I was pretty sensitive as a kid, so easily made fun of.
Yeah.
It wouldn't take me a lot to get riled up, and then I'd be in tears. And so, like, certain kids would love that. I mean, certain kids love making other kids cry.
Yeah.
So I was the recipient of that a fair amount. So I, spent a lot of time alone and playing with action figures and whatever else. And
I spent a lot of time by myself too. I was really little, and there was a bully on our street named Sean Miller that just terrorized me for a few years.
Oh, my bully was also my friend. I had such a weird. Darren Lindsay, if you're watching this, shame on you.
Shame on you, Darren Lindsay.
But it leads into a story of how I confronted him one day. This is great. Okay, so Darren Lindsay lived down my street as well. And I wanted to be friends with him so bad, and occasionally be really nice to me. And we would go play and make spears.
When no other friends were around,
yeah.
he would.
And then he would just turn on me. And I remember one specific day, we were all playing, and then his friend, this guy, Jordy King, we were all three of us together, and we're playing G.I. Joes and whatever, and then they suddenly just started picking on me. My last name, Middleditch, some might say little bitch, right? Turn that around, that used to get me. It used to get my brother too, but in 7th grade he broke a kid's nose, and that was that. But not me, I never did that stuff. But anyway, they started picking on me, in tears, slamming on the door. I got so, it was a really traumatic event. I was trying to make them stop. I was first pleading with them and then trying to fight them, and he's so much bigger than me, throwing me around. It was terrible. And then I remember at we were 18 at the time, just graduating, and we still sometimes took the same bus.
This was years later.
Yeah, and I'm sitting with me and this Darren Lindsay. I was like, hey man, do you remember that one time, back when we were kids and Jordy and all that kind of stuff? And he's like, oh yeah. And I was like, that sucked, I still remember it. And he's like, oh, don't worry about it. Jordy came up to me and said, hey, do you want to make fun of Tom? And I said, yeah. And I was like, huh? You mean there really was no reason? You just arbitrarily decided to ruin my life at that point? I just think that shit is so weird, how bullies, well, I guess it's just kids,